Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. We are still in our house modeling series, and today we're going to be working on awnings and shutters. Right, here we go. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a new video in the house modeling series. Now, I took this building as kind of a supporting act in this video, because what we're going to do is we're going to work on some trim, right? So what kind of trim? Well, we're going to be working on awnings and shutters. Now, there are a whole bunch of different types. I'm going to try to cover several in this video, and that said, here we go. All right, we're going to start with the simplest of all, basically a straightforward awning, and we'll go from there, right? So we're going to take a polygon plane, and we'll just move it over, and I'm just going to put one over this door over here. After frame that, we're going to hit W, we're going to bring that in, and there you go. And this is of course about the technique, so I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on making it perfectly in place and all that, right? Just so you know, we're going to hit R, we're going to scale this out to about there, W to push down a little bit, and then of course you would go in here, take this edge, you would bring that down, bring that out, depending on what you want and your needs. And then from there, what you would do is you would put in some arms if you need to. Now, if this is a fabric awning, you would have arms here going from this corner to the wall, like so. And if it's one made out of wood, it would be a bit thicker. You would have maybe, let's extrude this a little bit. Let's say 0.05. You'd have something like that, and then maybe with brackets going on and so forth. But like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because this is just too simple, right? Okay, that's that. Now, what about a French awning? Okay, now for that, we'll take a polygon cylinder, okay? We'll go in here, we'll put it over the same door, why not? Let's bring it out here. E to rotate, hold down J, flip it on its side like so, F to frame, Control A to open up the attribute editor. Let's set that subdivision level to 12. All right, then we're going to jump in here, F to frame, for wireframe mode, we're going to right click and go to face. Let's get rid of these, and let's get rid of these. Okay, what's that right there? Get rid of that, yeah, alrighty. Okay, after frame, here you go. That is fairly straightforward. This needs to be positioned, all right? So we're gonna scale it out a little bit. Hit W, push that down. Let's have a look from this view. Let's hit 4. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Now, once you got that, and like I said, if this is from a distance, you can basically leave it at that. If it's more close up, you would want to add some detail. Okay. So one thing that you can do is like a trim line down here. Now, how to do that? We're going to go in. We're going to take an edge, 1 and 2 and 3. Control E to extrude, W to push down, like so, and then you go back in and you separate it. So you go to 1 and 2 and 3, go to edit mesh and detach. All right, so now you can go to object mode, mesh and separate, and now you got a separate piece of trim. Now the reason for that is we want to subdivide that. So we're going to hit insert edge loop. Let's go to 5 on this side. Let's go to 8. Come on. 8 on the front. And then we'll do 5 on this side. And there you go. Q on our keyboard. We're going to go in here. Come on. We're going to right click and we're going to go to edge. We're going to take one, skip one, skip one, one, skip one, skip one. And then from the front here, let's see where I'm at. Same deal, okay? Now that we have that, we're going to hit Control E to extrude, W to push down. And you'll get something like that. Now, if you smooth this out, and we'll need to add a few edge loops to keep it straight, but if you hit 3, you get something looking like that, right? Now you see that it's rounded at the corners where the canopy is not. That's what I meant by you need to straighten it out. So you're going to hit Control I. We're going to go into manual. We're going to put one here in at the end, like so. We'll put one at the top right there. Then we'll put one on this corner and on that corner. And we'll do the same over here, just to hold that corner straight, yeah. And I think that's it, okay. Q on the keyboard, maybe one here, but we'll see. Let's hit 3, and there you go. Not bad, okay. So that is basically a French awning, yeah. Let's see, how about a canopy awning? Not too different. Instead of a cylinder, we're going to take a sphere. Okay, let's find it. Let's hit W, move it up, move it in, roughly to our same position here. After frame, we're going to change the subdivision level. We're going to go in, we're going to set that to 12, maybe even less. Let's do 8 and 8. I think that's better, yeah. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on its side. So hit E to rotate, hold down J, like so. And then we're going to jump into, let's see, this view right here, after frame. And let me see, that's my door, yeah. We're going to right click, go to face. We're going to go in here, we're going to get rid of this half, and that little section there as well. And then we'll take this, and there you go. Now, if we go in from our perspective view, yeah, and we take this guy, and we move that in over the door, and we scale it up a little bit, you would have one of those canopies that you see, you know, like in bars and restaurants and so forth. And then again, you can do that trim line down there if you like, right? So just a few examples of awnings. How about shutters? Now for that, we don't really need this whole setup here. So what we'll do is we'll just get rid of it. And we'll go in and we'll again start with something simple. We'll take a polygon cube. We'll hit R, we'll pull that out like so. Push it down. Pull that out a little bit. Okay, then we're going to hit Control D to duplicate, W to move over, and in case you haven't noticed, we're kind of trying to make a framework for this. Let's give it some thickness, and there you go. Maybe a bit less, yeah, that's fine. Then we're going to take one of these, and what I want to do here actually is I want to bevel it a little bit, because that way you can see it better, yeah. So let's go in to edge mode, and we're going to bevel that. That's fine. And then we'll use that as our reference. Okay. And again, take your time to do it properly and so forth. I just want to show you different techniques here. Yeah. Okay. We're going to Control D on that one. We're going to hit E to rotate, like so, and then we'll take these two. And we'll group them, go to modify and center pivot. So I jump to the top, hit F to frame, W to move, and hold down X. I can snap it to the center, which makes it easier to put this guy in place. Now we need to shorten that out quite a bit. Let's see, we'll go into vertex 1 and 2. We'll hit R, we'll scale that in. and have a look from here. Okay, good. Right click, go to object mode. We'll hit W, push it down in here. After frame, like so. And then we'll hit Control D to duplicate. We'll put one, I would say, in the middle. And then we'll hit Shift D. So we'll have one at the end. Okay. So now that we have all that, we're going to go to Mesh and Combine. We're going to hit E to rotate. We're going to hit J to flip it up. Yeah. W to move that up like so. And then we can go and put in our, I'm not sure what they're called, panels, I would say. Yeah. We're going to hit R. We're going to push that in. We're going to pull that out. Hit W, move it up. After frame, we're going to move to the top. After frame again. Yeah. Thickness seems to be okay, but we can make it a bit thinner. And again, I want to bevel these. So there we go. Bevel, yeah. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tilt this slightly. So for that, we need to be in this view. And we're going to move the pivot point to the top. So we're going to hit W. We're going to move this up. We're going to hit the Insert key. We're going to move that pivot point up here. Hit that Insert key again. E to rotate and very slightly move that. And how far you want to go, it's up to you. Maybe something like that, right? Then we're going to hit Control D to duplicate. We're going to hit W, and we're going to move this down until it's not touching the other one. I would say something like this. And then you need to figure out how far you can go until you hit that bottom one, right? So we're going to hit Shift D. And we're going to work our way down. And then we can see whether we need to reposition this guy, right? So we're going to take this, we're going to bring that up a little bit. After frame. It looks like I left some space in the top there. Let me see what's going on. Oh, apparently not. Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Mesh and separate, yeah, there you go. We're going to move that up a little bit. And then we'll take one of these, Control D to duplicate again, W to move down, and after frame, pull it down a little bit, Control D to duplicate, pull it down again, after frame, push it down a bit further, and then Shift D. So we'd have one here, and then work our way down. One more, yeah. Okay, and then we can go in and adjust that height, right? And we can do that by going in here, take this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Let's go to Combine once again, go to Vertex, and push it up like so. Now from a width standpoint, it seems that my blades, if you will, are kind of cutting into the door. Let's see if that's the case. A little bit, yeah. So of course you're going to want to have that sitting perfectly, yeah. But again, it's about the technique. Okay, so that's one way of doing that. Let's do another one. And in this case, what we'll do is something that is more of a tropical style, right? So we'll take these, we'll just keep the frame. And it's not that different. What you're going to do is you're going to take much larger panels, and they're going to be more open, right? So we're going to take a cube, once again. We're going to push that in, pull that out. We're going to move that up. After frame. Let's go in here to Vertex. Let's bevel that. Sorry, not Vertex, Edge, sorry. Edge, bevel that, there you go. We're going to go in here, we're going to make it a lot thinner. And we're going to bring it in. and that's kind of important that it's sitting like that. And then it's basically gonna sit half in, half out, something like this, right? So we're gonna hit W, we're gonna move this up, and if this rotates, it should be able to touch the top there, right? So we need to bring it down very, very slightly, like that. Okay, so we're gonna choose our angle. Let's say something like this maybe, yeah? And then from here, you're basically gonna follow the same process. So you're gonna hit Control D to duplicate. We're gonna move it down, but now you need to be careful that if this rotates back into position, it can't touch the other one, right? So that would be, I would say, about there. And let's see if that's the case. We'll just rotate it. You see that it has to go a bit further. All right, and then you would hit Shift D, and we'll work our way down like that. And then, as before, you're going to go in and you're going to adjust this guy if you want that guy to be in there at all, right? You can delete it. You would have something like that, right? And then, depending on the type of window you have, it will be wider, taller, and so forth and so on. Okay. Okay, so that's more like a tropical style, and then lastly what we'll do is something like a straightforward shutter on maybe a barn or something. So we'll get rid of that, and what we'll do is we'll take another polygon cube, we'll hit R, we'll basically pull it out like so, push it in, F to frame. That'd be about right. We're going to go in here, we're going to go to edge, let's bevel that. Alrighty, I think that looks about right. Then we're going to hit Control D to duplicate, we're going to hit W, we're going to move it over, F to frame, get it in pretty close, not perfectly close because you want to have a little gap there. Shift D, that'd be about right. And then you're going to copy one of these, Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold down J, flip it, we'll jump to the top, and what we'll do here is take this and go to Mesh and Combine, hit W, hold down X, and snap it to the center. So we can snap this to the center as well, making it a lot easier to get everything into proportion. So we're going to bring that in. We're not going to scale because it will change the dimensions of the sides. We're going to take vertex instead, yeah? So we're going to bring that in, and we're going to have that just within the dimensions there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this in as well, right? To about there, I would say. We're going to go to object mode. We're going to move this to about there. Control D to duplicate. We'll move one to the middle, hold down X, and I don't think that thing is centered, so let's go to center pivot. There you go, and now we can actually set it, yeah, and then we'll hit Control D once again and move it up here. Now what you're going to do there is you're going to make some cross sections. We want to raise these. They should not be sitting inside that guy, but more, come on, one. Let's move that down. There you go. Okay. Make sure it's not cutting into each other. Alrighty. Okay, so now we need those cross sections, yeah? So what we're going to do there is we're going to take one of these, we're going to Control D to duplicate, W to move, then we're going to jump to our top view, and what we're going to do here is we're going to tilt it, so E to rotate, hold on J, like so, W to move it down, so the top is right there, move it over to one corner, like so. Right click at a vertex, drag, push back up to about there, and then move it. Okay. All right, so you'd have something like that. And then you would hit Control D to duplicate, move it down, and you would typically either have this one in the same direction or you would have it pushing the other way. So you would hit E to rotate, hold down J, like so, hit W and move it over like this. Then that would be one of your shutter doors, right? Pretty simple. And then of course you would have hinges on the side there, but just to give you an idea, so we'll rotate this upward. You'd have something like this, and then you would have a copy of that. So let's see, we'll do -1 on X, and we'll move that. So you've got two of these opposite shutters next to a window, and the window would be something like that. Yeah, okay. Right, let's see what else. So regular shutter doors, we have tropical style, we have French style. Okay, we'll do one more just for the fun of it. What we'll do is saloon doors, like in a bar, right? Okay. And that's the last one, I promise. Okay, we'll move this up to about here. Then we'll hit R. We'll push that in to about there, I would say. That looks all right. Maybe a little bit longer. We're going to right click, go to Edge, drag select. We're going to bevel that. Then we're going to go in here to Object Mode, Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold down J. Flip it, W to move that out. Let's have a look. To about there, I would say. And then we're going to right click, go to vertex. Let's push that in to about there. Then we're going to go to Object Mode, Control D to duplicate, W to move down. After frame, let's get that in here. There you go. Yep. Then we're going to take this guy once again, Control D to duplicate, W to move over, after frame, okay. And then we're going to go into vertex, so we're going to drag select this, and we're going to push that down to, I would say, about there, yeah. Next, we're going to take this guy, we're going to hit Control D to duplicate, we'll hit W to move up to about there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to connect that up with this guy. So we need to insert edge loops. Let's see how many. We'll do multiple. I would say 5 should be enough. Maybe more, maybe more. Let's do 8. Okay. Then we're going to close that up, and we know that we want this guy. Come on. This section right here should connect up with this. We know that, right? Okay. So we're going to put that in place, and that should connect up there. Okay, so from here, we're going to try to find that pattern that we want. So we're going to go to about the middle, I would say, and we'll put that somewhere around here. And then we can start to get towards that path that we want. Okay, so this is going down, and then we'll take all of this. And you typically want to have it come up a little before it's where it needs to be, right? Okay, so we can adjust that a little bit. It's not too bad. Okay, cool, cool. All right, so now that we have that, what we're going to do next is we're going to put in our panels, or whatever they're called. Yeah, I'm just looking at the width, if it's okay. I think it is. So what we'll do is we'll borrow one of these. Yeah, Control D to duplicate, W to move up, F to frame. And what we're going to do here is we're going to tilt that slightly. Actually, before I do that, let's hit R, make that nice and thin. either rotate to about here. Let's have a look. F to frame. And because of that, we can hit W, move that down a bit. There you go. Control D to duplicate, W to move up. And in this case, because these are never going to be rotating, we can kind of have them almost hug, right? So we're going to hit Shift D. So Control D, move it up. And then Shift D. And we're going to adjust that height in a second. And I think the best way is to just work our way up. And you don't always want to have these all the way up. You want this to be open or to have some other decoration going on here. So we need to slightly raise this guy. And then in here you would have something more like a cylinder. So we'll move that in. We'll open up the attribute editor. We'll set caps to 0. We'll go in here, the face mode, delete. You can hit R, you're gonna scale that, W to move that up. Let's have a look. F to frame. Let's scale it down a bit. There you go. Let's have a look from our perspective view. All right, you want these to be nice and thin. All right, we're gonna go to vertex. And you're gonna bring that up. And it looks all right. And now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go in and we're gonna move this guy over here, I would say. Go to vertex, push that up, and then we're going to go in here to object mode, Control D to duplicate, W to move, and let's do something like this. Yep. Then we're going to hit Shift D all the way over, and that's fine. And then we're going to go and put them in the right proportions. So this guy can go, this guy will go down here. This guy, you need to adjust the height a little bit. All right. Okay, guys, so you'd have something like this. And then we're gonna basically duplicate special that. Move it over. Take the whole thing, and there you go. So not necessarily shutters, but an idea that you can, something you can do with shutters like that, right? So hopefully this was a helpful video. Hopefully it was interesting. Let me know if you got any request videos for the house modeling series. And that said, thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.